Are you constantly trying to do what you think you should do to keep others happy? It's exhausting, right? Because it's a never-ending cycle of trying to guess what they want or need. Wouldn't it just feel good to have some peace and stop worrying about them? In this video, I'm showing you how what you're doing, trying to make sure everybody is okay, is not nice. And it's actually the thing that's exhausting you. And stay tuned because I'm also sharing with you how you are not the only one who's exhausted and frustrated. The biggest mistake I see people pleasers make is you think by being nice that you're helping. But are you really? Let's start with the obvious as to why people pleasing is exhausting you. Most likely you are physically and emotionally drained from never taking time for yourself. You're overcommitting and you're saying yes to way too many things, maybe to everything that comes your way. You feel obligated to say yes to in order to make the other person happy, to not disappoint them. And especially this time of year, so much more gets thrown at us. Events, invites, committees, baking, things to do, Christmas cards to send. All these things get put on our plate and we say yes. We don't turn things down because we don't want to disappoint the other person. And this is stressful, always going and doing. And on top of that, always being worried about them, that someone else is happy. If this is you, if you are stressed from people pleasing, especially this time of year, then I invite you to join my 12 Days of Stressmas Challenge. In the 12 days of videos starting December 2nd, I will be talking about how people pleasing causes us stress in our life in ways that we don't even realize. And then how to take small actionable steps to diminish or to get that stress from people pleasing out of your life completely. That would be the end goal. So put Stressmas in the comments and I will make sure to get you the link so that you get all the updates every time a new Stressmas video posts. I have a question for you. Do you sometimes do nice things for others and then you hope that they'll repay you back by doing something nice for you and then they don't? What happens with that? You start to get resentful, right? And then you tell yourself that you're wrong for being resentful. This adds to the stress and the frustration and the exhaustion that you feel. And that is all coming from the origin of people pleasing because you're doing something nice with the expectation of something in return. So when you prioritize others at your own expense, this just adds to that little garden of resentment that you're building. There's another seed that gets put into that soil. There's a saying that expectations equal premeditated resentments. Can you see it? Remember when I said at the beginning of the video that you're not the only one frustrated and exhausted by your people pleasing? Our people pleasing behaviors exhaust and frustrate other people. Here's how. When we say yes and don't really mean it, or it's fine, I'm good to go wherever you want to go, but then we're really not, this leaves the other person guessing as to whether you're really telling the truth, and it creates tension. And if you've done this repetitively with this person, they're on to you, and that is frustrating and exhausting to them because they don't know whether to believe you or not. Have you ever felt uncomfortable or irritated even at someone when they've said yes, but you can tell that their heart's not in it? Or maybe they don't even end up showing up at all. They ghost you. That is no fun to be on the other side. And that's what we're doing when we're saying yes or it's fine and not making a decision, not telling them our truth. In a recent video I posted here on YouTube called A Dark Truth About People Pleasing, I talked about a Reddit forum that I ran across, and I actually transferred it into a Google Doc because I wanted to study it. It's 29 pages about people pleasing. A woman who was struggling with understanding how her people pleasing was a bad thing. She thought she was just being nice. And all of these responses were helping her work her way through this. but a few of them talked about how frustrating people pleasers are to them. And I want to read you a couple of the comments that came through. One said, I have friends who are people pleasers, and this is why they annoy and frustrate me sometimes. It gets annoying when you know they might not be fully happy about something, but they won't tell you. They'll always say, it's fine, and try to put the decisions back on you. They think this is being nice, but you can tell it's not genuine. It's a bit uncomfortable and exhausting after a while. You feel responsible for guessing their feelings rather than being able to trust that they'll communicate them. And then the other message, the other person said, just one thing. It's frustrating when people say they are fine with doing anything because that makes the other person take on the burden of making the decision. At its core, people pleasing is manipulative. It's exhausting to be around because you can't trust them to be truly honest because they get off on this self-sacrificing behavior. So you can see from these messages how our people pleasing, how us thinking that we're being nice and not speaking up, not telling our truth, not speaking our opinions, saying yes when we really want to say no, or when we have a different opinion about something, it's not helpful to other people. In fact, it's frustrating and exhausting to them. So what can we do about it? How do we start to break free from this people-pleasing pattern so that we aren't exhausted and we're not frustrating and exhausting other people anymore with this nice behavior? I love a good visual because this helps me remember. So the first way to start breaking free is to become aware. I always say that awareness is key. It's the first step to changing anything in our lives. Until we have awareness, we can't do anything about it. The second thing is to look at the beliefs that we have about ourselves, the BS, the things that are hiding in the blind spots. Because again, until we know what's there, what is driving us, because those beliefs that are at the core, they are the root of all of this behavior. Until we discover what those beliefs are that are driving us, we will continue to do them because they're on autopilot. They're in the driver's seat and driving your car down the road, driving your life down the road. 95% of our day is run by the subconscious, and our beliefs are in the subconscious. So figure out, and if you need help with that, that's what I help people do. That's what I help women do, is figure out what beliefs are driving your life so that we can shift them and create new beliefs. And the third thing to changing this people-pleasing pattern, this people-pleasing habit, this cycle that we're in, is to have courage. It takes a ton of courage to break free of people pleasing, to start saying no when it's just easier to say yes. You will develop courage as you start doing these things. It won't just come automatically. And along with that courage comes confidence. Don't wait until you have confidence in order to start doing these things. Otherwise, you won't change, because you have to start, and then the confidence comes with time. I guarantee it. Before I go into the second set of ABCs, I just want to remind you about the 12 Days of Stressmas Challenge. I would love for you to join in there. It's an easy, non-challenging challenge. All you have to do is show up, watch videos, and comment. It's fun, it's free. Put Stressmas down in the comments and I will get you the link so that you're notified of every time a video posts. It starts December 2nd. The second set of ABCs that I want to tell you is more actionable things that you can do that will eliminate the frustration and exhaustion that your people pleasing has been causing other people. And the first thing is to be authentic. Start showing up as the authentic you, as all the flaws and faults and things that you're trying to hide from other people. Start showing up as that person, because that person, not the chameleon, but the true authentic you, is what the other person wants to see. That's the person they want to have a relationship with. The second thing that you can do is start setting boundaries. You knew I was going to say that, right? This is as much for you saying no, having that boundary with yourself that you will not say yes unless you've thought about it for 24 hours. That could be a boundary that you set. But you don't say yes automatically. You stop that habit of auto-yesing. And another thing that goes along with this is to be clear. Boundaries are kind and clear. They help other people know what is okay with us and what's not okay with us. And the third thing, the C, is to communicate. Communicate clearly, not passive aggressively. Communicate clearly and openly. This is what creates connection. These three things, being authentic, having boundaries, and being clear, communicating clearly, will create better connections with all of the people in your life. I guarantee it, including with yourself. So I'd love for you to comment on anything that you got out of this. What did you think of the ABCs? Were they helpful for you? I read all the comments personally, and I love reading them and seeing how things are shifting in your life. If you want to watch the other video, The Dark Truth About People Pleasing, How It's Manipulative, I'll link it right there. To diminish or to diminish or to diminish or to. Remember when I said at the beginning of the video that you're not the only one? That's the person they want to have a relationship